So the current state of boating in the Bahamas, like I said, up until COVID, we have had banner years. The last 4 to 5 years have been phenomenal. We have broken records almost every single year with the amount of boats, the amount of revenue that's being produced for Bahamian businesses, for vendors, for small businesses, has never been better. We look forward to getting back to that time, and we see there's no reason why that once we get through this COVID epidemic, that we can't move back into those arenas. We do know for a fact that many boats are being based in this part of the world right now, and we also know that they do have choices. We do know that there's other great island and Caribbean destinations you could be going to, but for any brokers that are out there and any charter agents that are out there, we ask that you please at least give the Bahamas an opportunity to bid on your business, if you will. Let us help create some itineraries for you. Let us help share a little bit more about what we're doing in the Bahamas to keep your clients safe, to keep the Bahamians safe, but at the same time that your charter guests can still come and have an amazing time. I'm going to kind of go through some of these are some of the things that Carrie Fountain has already gone over. Our proximity to the U.S. There is no better destination for the boats that are now all in Florida. As we all know, many vessels did not go back to the Mediterranean. So we do have an influx of boats in Florida right now. The marinas are full, the boat yards are full, and they will all need alternative destinations in the next 3 to 6 months. And we're hoping that the Bahamas can be that alternative destination. A little bit about our Association of Bahamas Marinas. We're over 10 years old. We represent roughly 35 to 40 of the marinas in the Bahamas, definitely most of all of the big marinas. We welcome more marinas to join our movement. We also have 35 allied members, which include both Bahamian and U.S. companies that provide services to the Bahamas and services to yachts in the Bahamas, as well as marinas in the Bahamas. So we welcome even more allied members that are out there. Feel free to reach out to myself at any time, and we can share more with you. Update on the marinas. As we all know, before COVID, we had just spent 6 months of coming out of post Hurricane Dorian damage and terrible carnage in both Abaco and Freeport. We felt we had moved a long way moving into January, and so many great marinas had already been opened. You have to realize that 95% of the Bahamas were unaffected by the hurricanes. I think most people understand that message now, but there's nothing wrong saying it again. But in the Freeport area, the bulk of all the marinas had already reopened, and we're looking forward to a good spring season. So we hope that once after August 19th that Grand Bahama may be reopening. We don't know yet. Right now they are closed to boating, but we're hoping that they will be able to reopen within the next month or so. And at that point in time, as you can see, there's Old Bahama Bay, Blue Marlin Cove, Grand Bahama Yacht Club, Port Lacaya, and Runnymede that are all open. The Abacos, as Carrie said, are in a rebuilding phase. In Marsh Harbor, though, the Abaco Beach Resort at Harbor Marina are already open, and the Abaco Club and Winding Bay are both fully operational. So make phone calls, make emails, reach out to dock masters, reach out to general managers, but also don't overlook the Abacos, because the Abacos are coming back and they're trying their best to hopefully by next summer even have a lot more things open. Update on Bahamas around marinas around the rest of the Bahamas. I will say this: before COVID, all the marinas were open. On July 1st, 95% of all the marinas were open. Okay, and other areas outside of Abaco. There are a number of marinas now that would normally be going into their slow season, and essentially some marinas would even be closing this time of year. So we don't want to equate everything just to COVID. Some of it has to do with the season. But for the most part, in Nassau, all the marinas are open. Albany, Bay Street Marina, Hurricane Hole, which is going through a big expansion and remodel. Atlantis, Nassau Yacht Haven, Palm Key. So I don't see any of that changing in Nassau. On Eleuthera, the same thing. Cape Eleuthera, Davis Harbor, French Leave, Spanish Wells, Remora Bay, and obviously Valentine's. We're all open. And Bimini, Exumas, the Southern Islands. I do obviously recommend that you reach out to these, to each of the locations and check their schedules, check their check-in schedules. Maybe customs immigration isn't happening every day. Maybe the marina managers aren't there every day. So, you know, we are not, like I said, we are in a COVID period, and we're also going into the slow period. But the Bahamas are open, and there's lots of alternative options if you happen to be going to an area that maybe one particular place isn't open at this point in time. But for the most part, all the marinas are essentially open, except for a few that are going through this process of the closure for the next 2 weeks as the country is in a lockdown situation. Okay, I'm not going to get too much into the protocols and the requirements, because I think Carla had mentioned that we may be going through some of this, but it is not complicated. We have a very simple process of making sure you have a negative PCR test. I think that everybody already knows about that. We have a very, very simple application process online at travel.gov.bs. It takes just a few minutes. You usually get your response back within 48 hours to clear you to come to the Bahamas. Yes, we do have a 14-day quarantine right now, but that quarantine can take place on your yacht or your hotel room. So for those who are on a yacht, especially those who might be anchoring out in the Exumas or in some of the exotic places, this should not be an issue at all. We should mention that the country is on lockdown for another 12 days, and that means that most places aren't open in terms of restaurants, in terms of small businesses and such. But we're hoping that that will change here at the end of the month, and we will be able to get back into servicing our guests a little bit more than what we can do right now. But that is not to say that guests cannot come, and it's definitely not to say that they cannot come during the 14-day quarantine process. There's just a little more of a process. Marina facilities and marina personnel. I know at Remora Bay, we've already received our clean, green, and pristine seal of approval. I know that most hotels and marinas are working towards that. It is a new program that the Ministry of Tourism came out with after COVID, and it is an inspection process. It is a personnel process. It is something that keeps not only our employees very safe, but it also keeps our clients and our customers safe. And all the marinas that I know that are open or are opening, the hotels that are open or will open, are all going to be working towards getting their clean, green, and pristine stamp. And so that to us is a great way to share with the world that we take protocol very seriously. We take your safety very seriously, and it shows you that we can do things during this COVID period. Like Carrie and some of the other people mentioned, including the good doctor at the beginning, Dr. Romer, we don't know when this is going to end. We don't know how long this is going to be. Okay, so we have to learn to work within the guidelines, but we can do this. We can grow tourism within the guidelines, and hopefully one day we won't have to worry about the guidelines so much. But right now we have to do things the right way, and so we are proud to say that most marina facilities, with both their personnel and their facilities themselves, are doing a great job. The Association of Bahamas Marinas has a member program for boaters. It's called the Voyager Program. Please feel free to reach out to our Association of Bahamas Marinas website at any time and learn more about the Voyager Program. On the horizon, Carl Allen is doing an amazing job up at Walker's Cay. For those of you who grew up in South Florida, know how important Walker's Cay is to the heritage and the history of fishing. It is probably one of the most famous fishing islands in the world, and it is being reborn, if you will, to the tune of millions of dollars, and it is going to be a first-class marina and fishing facility. In Nassau, we have an additional new marina called The Point, and it is now open, and it sits right along Bay Street near the the Hilton. And once again, another sign that boating and yachting is really, really healthy in the Bahamas. And it's really important that we spread that message around the world that yes, things have gotten a little strange the last few months, but that's not going to dissuade us from staying on our path of being the leader of boating and yachting around the world. And that really is what the islands of the Bahamas aspires to be. We're very happy at the ABM that we're able to have such an amazing relationship with the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism. We're kind of a sidearm of theirs, so we help bring the business, we help market their message. But we are blessed that Carla Stewart has in the past year and a half come on strong to really help be our voice within the Ministry of Tourism. The Director General, Joy Gibalou, has really embraced boating and yachting. Both individuals letting us know, hey, teach us about boating and yachting. Teach us what we need to know to market it properly for you. And when you have a tourism product and a governmental arm reach out to the private sector like that, there's no better partnership. In any good run country, public and private partnership is so very important. In the Bahamas, we have that, and we're very blessed that it's working great for the boating and yachting industry. So for everybody out there, I'm just going to finish up with letting you know that you're welcome. You're welcome to the country. You're welcome to to bring your vessels across the Gulf Stream. You're welcome at Customs Immigration. You're welcome in the Marinas. You're most definitely welcome in Harbor Island, and I will personally welcome you at Ramora Bay if that happens to be your destination of choice. So thank you very, very much for allowing me to share with you my message today.